Rafael Devers helped lift the Boston Red Sox to a series-opening 6-1 win over Xander Bogaerts and the San Diego Padres on Friday night.
You are Locked On Red Sox, your daily Boston Red Sox podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thank you for making Locked On Red Sox your first listen of every single day. Happy Saturday, a very special Saturday episode of the Locked On Red Sox podcast. As you know, or if you do not know, I am leaving the Locked On Red Sox podcast. Unfortunately, my last show will air on Monday. So I'm just giving a little bit of bonus content this weekend, and especially after a big win, especially the first game against Xander Bogaerts, I couldn't resist not coming on here and doing a show for you. But Boston kicked off this 9-game road trip on a high note. They now have a little bit of a win streak going here, and they faced Bogaerts for the first time since he signed with San Diego in the offseason. And before the game even started, Rafael Devers and Xander Bogaerts exchanged lineup cards. It was a cute moment, very sweet. They gave each other a hug. And Devers had spoken earlier how he talks to Bogaerts every day. The two went out to dinner on Thursday night where Bogaerts forgot his wallet and Devers ended up paying. But I bet Bogaerts is the kind of guy who's like, oh, I'll just get you next time. But just a cute moment to kick off the game. And maybe that kind of gave Devers a little bit of luck in his bat, sparked something there for him because he had a 2-home run night at Petco Park on Friday. The first was a solo home run, and then he launched a 3-run shot to accumulate his 4th RBI on the night. And both of those came off Blake Snell, who was not very good for San Diego. He gave up 6 earned runs on 5 hits. And we talked to Javier from Locked On Padres on Friday, and he was just talking about how not a lot is going right for the Padres. Things are going well for the Red Sox. For the Padres, things are not really going that well, and he wasn't very confident going into this series. And Friday probably didn't do anything to help his confidence. Unfortunately for him, fortunately for us and Red Sox fans. But it's kind of like how the Red Sox were when they were in the midst of that 4-game losing streak. Oh no, 4 games. But when they just were not playing good baseball. And I think that's kind of where the Padres are at right now. Just nothing seems to be going right. And just the way they're playing is not good baseball. They don't look competitive out there. And it's disappointing to see for Padres fans, especially because they have a big lineup. You spent all that money in the offseason. You spent all that money extending your players. And now it's just like, what is going on here? Why are we not an above 500 team? We're certainly better than how we're playing right now, and just nothing is going right for them. So it was a good game for the Red Sox overall. I really liked what I saw from the offense, from the pitching as well. I think the pitching really stuck out in this game, and we'll talk about that later on in the show. Even though Rafael Devers stole the show with his 2 home runs, Rob Refsnyder deserves a lot of credit right now. He is just mashing lefties whenever he's in the lineup, and he's taking advantage every time there's a left-hander on the mound. And that continued on Friday. He went 1 for 3. He drove in the other 2 runs after Devers drove in the other 4. And he's just been somebody who is taking advantage of every opportunity that he can, whether he's in the field or at the plate. Against lefties, he has 48 at-bats. He's slashing 354, 446, 479, 926. He has 1 home run, 3 doubles, 12 RBI. So clearly he knows what he's doing against left-handed hitters. Definitely someone who's making an impact when he's in the lineup, and especially when he's going against lefties. And Alex Cora said after the game that when he does well, everyone is happy here. And I think that's a testament to just how happy this team is to not only have Rob Refsnyder in a Red Sox uniform, but to see him performing well. I think that players thrive when their teammates are performing well, and especially somebody like Rob Refsnyder. You know, he's not this big superstar, right? He had his walk-off last year when he said he was basically sleep deprived because of his young child at home. And he has these really good moments for the Red Sox, and they're becoming more consistent now that he's getting a bit more consistent time in the lineup. And I love this guy. Stringing together good at-bats, he's coming in clutch, and he's good against lefties. So if there's a lefty on the mound and Refsnyder's at the plate, chances are he's going to get on base, and he's making it hard for Cora to take him out of the lineup. And I think that as this team continues to get healthy, it's just going to be harder to keep Refsnyder out of the lineup. But it wouldn't be a Red Sox-Padres game if there wasn't something to do with Bogaerts, right? I mean, that was a big storyline going into the game, was that this was the first time he's facing his old team. And before the game, he said a few interesting things that I don't really think are super surprising, but it's the first time we've actually heard him say that he was pretty sure that his time with the Red Sox was coming to an end last March. So in March 2022. And that's right before or right after. And that's right after they signed Trevor Story. So I think Bogaerts saw the writing on the wall. And if he knew back in March, I mean, props to him. He stayed composed. I think he gave a great effort last year for the Red Sox. And that's got to be a crappy feeling going into the season, knowing that this probably is your last one with the only team you've ever played for, with genuine connections that you've made, with World Series titles to your name, and for a manager that I know that Bogaerts loved playing for, and Alex Cora, and still have to go out there because you want to get that big contract, which he most certainly did in the offseason. And like I said, I don't think it's really surprising. I think a lot of fans saw the writing on the wall when Trevor Story was signed to that contract, because everyone was like, so where does this put Bogaerts in the future? If you're signing Story to a multi-year contract, you're putting money on him now. Obviously, he's a shortstop. So I think fans really saw what was going on, and they obviously voiced their opinions. They were very loud about that. And now that Bogaerts is saying it, I just think it confirms what everyone believed once Story was signed. But it probably was not easy for Bogaerts to put on a smile every day, go out there and play, and go out and play for a very bad 2022 Red Sox team. Obviously, that's not how you want your time to end with any team. You want it to end on a high note. World Series, you want it to go out. It's like retirement. You want to go out on your terms. And I know that he did want to be in Boston. I know that he gave the Red Sox chance after chance, to give him that big contract that he wanted, and they wouldn't budge. And that's okay. I don't want to commit all that time to Bogaerts either. But as we've said before on past episodes, is that it should have never gotten to that point. But now we know that Bogaerts was feeling some type of way in March, that he was like, I don't think I'm coming back. And it's your gut feeling. It's those conversations you have with the higher ups, and kind of you know where you stand when you're in a contract year, and you know those conversations that you're having. So he definitely had a good read on the situation. And it's unfortunate that he's not here. I think, I mean, I'd still love to have Xander Bogaerts, but obviously he was not in the Red Sox long-term plans after his contract was up in Boston. So any suspicions that anyone had that Bogaerts knew long before the offseason, you were correct. And now I think hopefully after this series that we can just close this book on Boston Bogaerts. And I know that there's always going to be that storyline there. I mean, we still hear it with Mookie Betts and the Dodgers every time those two teams play. But, Bogaerts has spoken on it. And then he got robbed last night of a hit thanks to Alex Verdugo's defense in the outfield. But I do hope he does well overall in San Diego. And I hope the Padres get better, because I like competitive baseball. And I like Javier from Locked On Padres. I like my friend Friar Phil on Twitter, who's a big Padres fan, who's very upset with how the Padres are playing lately. And you just want to see good baseball. But I like that the Red Sox are winning. I think that's very important right now. This is a very tough AL East division. That's nothing new from year to year. And it's even tougher this year. So to just get the wins, no matter how easy, no matter how tough, get those wins. A win is a win. And they could not have done it without their pitching. We'll talk about James Paxton and Josh Winckowski in the second segment of the Locked On Red Sox podcast, just after I tell you about So Rare, which is a revolutionary fantasy baseball game and marketplace that transforms fans into owners with officially licensed cards featuring players from every single MLB team. Unlike other fantasy baseball platforms, So Rare managers truly own their experience. They collect, they buy, they sell, and they compete with their player cards against global components to win epic rewards. Win or lose, you still own your cards, and it costs nothing to play. So win-win all around. Plus, the more you win, the more you advance, collecting increasingly powerful cards and accessing next level competitions and rewards. So Rare also has recently partnered with Juan Soto and Julio Rodriguez, and they're brand ambassadors with So Rare, and they'll connect with the So Rare community. They'll engage with the So Rare community throughout the season at different MLB events. So if you want in on this, head to sorare.com/lockedon. That's SORARE.com to draft your team of player cards, set your lineup, and start competing today to win epic rewards. Again, that's sorare.com/lockedon to start playing today. So as much as I was saying how nothing was going right for the Padres, everything seems to be going right for the Red Sox right now, and that includes pitching, and that includes James Paxton, who got his first win since 2020, so that must have felt good. He looked really good. He did have some command issues, but his velocity was good. So when I say he looked really good, I'm talking about the velocity, which you want to see with somebody who's had the Tommy John surgery, with somebody who's had lat issues, and somebody also who has not pitched since 2021. And I loved that he went out there and had a second consecutive strong start. At the end of the day, it was enough to give the Red Sox what they needed, and he got his first win. So I gave my flowers to Devers. We're going to give them to Paxton and Josh Winckowski because those were the only two pitchers used in Friday's game. So it gave the relievers some rest, and it continued to show that Winckowski is very reliable out of this bullpen. So Paxton went 6 innings. He gave up 5 hits, only 1 earned run. He walked 2 and struck out 5. So this is his second consecutive strong start, his first win since 2020. So I know that had to have felt good for him. I think that it was good to see. It was very encouraging. And I know the Padres have been struggling, but Paxton came out and he showed up for 2 straight starts now. And he shows that his stuff is good enough to win against teams. And as I just mentioned, the Padres are struggling. Their offense just does not seem to be clicking right now. But I still want to see Paxton go out there and be dominant against teams and get strikeouts and keep people off the base path. And I would much rather him struggle with command and still get the win than struggle with command and walk all these batters, have the Padres take advantage of that, or just have the Padres jump all over him in the first or second inning early in the game. So I'm taking a lot of good from Paxton's start. And the only blemish was the solo home run from Fernando Tatis Jr., which no matter how bad the Padres are, he's always going to provide some sort of spark. But Paxton threw 107 pitches, 66 of those for strikes. And Paxton was very, very high on Connor Wong. He gave him a lot of credit after the game because Paxton had mentioned that his command was difficult and Wong did a great job behind the plate. He said that Wong mixed speeds, he kept guys off balance, and of course he credited the guys in the outfield for making good plays as well. So to see Connor Wong get a lot of praise too for helping Paxton kind of to still turn in a good start despite having his command issues. Connor Wong, I think, had a really good read on the game. And like Paxton said, he was keeping the guys off balance. He knew exactly what pitch Paxton should throw to make sure that they stay off the base path. And it worked. I think they're a very good tandem. And I think that Paxton clearly has a lot of trust in Wong. Alex Cora also agreed about the command from Paxton, but he did like the velocity that he saw from his pitcher. So overall, I think it was a fine start for Paxton. I think there's going to be growing pains, so to say, and some rust because he really hasn't been in a groove or a routine since 2021. But it was enough to get the win. And then there was Josh Winckowski, who pitched the final 3 innings. He walked 1, he struck out 2. He's really become a reliable arm out of that bullpen. And the starting pitching is beginning to improve. And I always said, I preached this in the offseason that a lot of things need to go right in order for this Red Sox team to be good and to be competitive. And right now, it kind of seems like things are going well. Does that mean they're going to be a postseason contender? I don't know. I cannot see into the future as much as I wish I could. I don't know. But right now, I like what I'm seeing from a lot of their players. And the starting pitching is beginning to really, really improve. And that could be very dangerous going forward for opponents because if the starting pitching can figure it out and the bullpen can continue to be, reliable, this is going to be a pretty good team. And I think we've seen flashes of their potential. I'm much happier at this point in the season than I was at this point in the 2022 season. So a lot of good things are going right. And now Chris Sale will be on the mound on Saturday. So hopefully he can just keep those good times rolling. But checking in with the Woo Sox really quickly because the Red Sox are reportedly shopping Bobby Dalbec. Peter Gammons reported that they're taking calls on him. And I don't really think that's a shock. It shouldn't be too much of a shock to anyone. The Sox are pretty set at first and third base. He's not a shortstop. And he'd probably benefit from a change of scenery at this point. He was optioned back to AAA earlier this month. And on Friday, he blasted an absolute moonshot for the Woo Sox. And when I say moonshot, I'm talking 515 feet. We know he has power, and he has a ton of power. And that was on full display on Friday. He went 4 for 5, 3 RBI and a walk. So it's been an unfortunate run here for Dalbec in Boston. And I think that a new team with a better opportunity for him to get consistent at bats at the major league level would really help him. And maybe he can get a little bit more than the Red Sox maybe were originally hoping because he does have versatility. He was playing the outfield for Worcester. He has played several infield positions. So that obviously looks better when the Red Sox are trying to trade. You can kind of use that to your advantage, but he doesn't have a ton of experience in all these positions. So it probably, it sounds like Bobby Dalbec won't be a Red Sox for the rest of the season. I think if he's not traded in the coming weeks, then obviously the trade deadline is when I can't see him being here after that. but there's just no room for him on the Red Sox team. They're set at what seems like every single position, and there's going to be a logjam when Adam Duvall comes back, when Trevor Story comes back. You're creating logjams at other positions. So it's definitely something to keep our eye on as those two get healthy. So it's getting closer to both of them returning, and I would love to see Adam Duvall pick up right where he left off, and I'd love for Trevor Story to return with a vengeance. So we'll see what happens going forward, but we're going to end this show how we always do. We will do the mental health minute in the third segment after I tell you about bird dogs. Bird dogs are known for their fit, for their comfort, for their versatility. They say look good, feel good, and that's how you will feel wearing bird dogs. I just got my order recently, and I was shocked at how comfortable they were. They're also super versatile, so if you want to go golfing and then you want to go out with some friends after and meet some friends, you can wear both. You can wear it to the golf course, wear it to a casual night out. You can even wear them to work. They do have tons of options for work clothes, for casual nights out, for casual nights in the golf course. You can literally wear these anywhere. And the part of my take hosts famously do not wear pants, but you do know what they do wear. That is bird dogs. They truly love their bird dogs. So if you want to try your own pair, go to birddogs.com/lockedonmlb and enter the promo code lockedonmlb, because when you do, they'll send you a free custom Bird Dogs Yeti style tumbler with every order. Who doesn't love a free tumbler? Go to birddogs.com/lockedonmlb to get your order started. So for this mental health minute, you know I'm starting a new job soon, and it's kind of that almost first day of school jitters that I've had recently. I've had the last few days off to kind of just, give myself some time between finishing a job and then starting a new one. But the nerves are really starting to set in, and I'm starting to get a lot of the welcome emails. I'm starting to get everything set up for Monday. And something that's been really nice that has eased those first day jitters is the people. They've already been so welcoming. They've gone out of their way to reach out to me and just say, welcome. If I can do anything, let me know. And it's just reassuring, because starting a new job can be very scary. And even though I know some of these people and I've been connected with some of these people for a few years, you're still leaving the comfort of a job that you knew for 5 years to go into something, while it's still very similar, very different. So I'm very excited, and the people have already made it much easier. So when I walk into the office on Monday, I'm not going to be as nervous. I'm still going to be nervous, of course. I think that's natural, but I'll have a lot more confidence because I know that the people are just very welcoming, and it's been very, very helpful, and it's really helped a lot. And it kind of goes back to what I was saying in Friday's episode or Thursday's episode, that it's, cost nothing to be kind to someone. And just somebody reaching out on Twitter, just saying, hey, welcome to the team. If you need anything, let me know, goes such a long way. They don't have to do that, but they did. And I was very grateful for it. And I'm very excited for Monday. As sad as I am to be leaving you, I am very excited for my next chapter. And you'll also be able to find me on Twitter. And now you can find all my written work on Mass Live. So I'm very excited to see where this will take me. And I'm excited where the podcast goes from here as well. So just a shout out to my new coworkers, because they've already made me feel like I've been part of the team for a long time, and I'm ready to boogie. So let's boogie. Thank you for making Locked On Red Sox your first listen of every single day. Every dayers, we will be back Sunday to recap Saturday night's game, and hopefully they can continue this win streak. Chris Sale on the mound. Let's see what he can do after throwing 8 innings in his last start. Find us on Twitter at LO_Red Sox, and then me at Lauren, 3 Laws, Lauren with 4 R's. Don't forget to subscribe to Locked On Red Sox on YouTube, Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast is where you can find us. Like I said, we will be back tomorrow, so enjoy the rest of this rainy Saturday. Until next time, we'll end this show how we always do. Keep the faith, and let's go Red Sox.